Look how I'm geeking up. I'm so pretty. I'm on Gucci. I'm so pretty. I'm on get it. Watch me move. This is Sully. On my Kodak. Black. Ooh, know that. Hundred bands, hundred bands, hundred bands. Contraband, contraband, contraband. I got the plug on who a hawker. Whoa, they gonna find you like reclaim, 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 reclaim. Hey, 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 hey. Well, no, civil rights is here to stay. Hey, hey, what do we say? Civil rights is here to stay. This is America. Tell me what democracy looks like. Don't catch you slipping now. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is America. Tell me what unity looks like. Don't catch you slipping now. Tell me what unity looks like. This is America. Tell me what America looks like. Tell me what America looks like. No justice. No justice. No justice. No justice. Yeah, I'ma go get the bag. Yeah, or I'ma get the bag. Yeah, I'm so cold like yeah. I'm so dull like yeah. We gon' blow like yeah. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping up. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping up. Look how I'm kicking up. I'm so pretty. I'm on Gucci. I'm so pretty. I'm gonna get it. Watch me move. This is Sully. On my Kodak. Black. Ooh, know that.
Jerusalem, ikayalami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Jerusalem, ikayalami,
Come on, y'all. Let's get excited for our chance to vote. We in the South, I know y'all know the wild.
All the shorties in the club, let me see you dance. Back it up, drop it down, let me see you dance. Get low, scrub the ground, let me see you dance. Push it up, let me see you dance. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah.
Shaking the city like quakes. Face like condos. I'm making the cake, so let's bake. I'm taking the game's mine. It's the change, it's my time. Yeah, I'm new to the game, but y'all might wanna slip it back, grab daylight saving time. I can dance on it, I don't two-step. Y'all looking at something like a true player. A girl told me that a man that can dance, I stick it down with the tool in his pan. Now I'm a lady, let me see it vibrate.
Let's make sure we dance our way to the pool.
Cause I'm a pro, make you bring your back low and the powder real bad, just like the percolate. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah.
I see you, Belgian.
Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah. Back it up. like they know right shit. Yeah, my soul is busy, but I can't help my flow ridiculous. Boy, got a gift like you gotta be gifted. My swag on this like you gotta be gifted. The girls on cameras and they want pictures and they gon' frame her. See that? Let a little bit while I'm saying my scriptures. Cause I leave you holy like a prayer to temple. I'm moving with a red of a pencil. And my won't miss you, good night kiss you. Take a damn lie, cause you got pistol. And now I'm there, now to make her right these issues. Wobble, baby, 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 wobble.
Have superpowers, rap 225,000 hours. Get a calculator, do the math. I made 1,000 songs that made you move ya. And for the last 300 months, I made 16 albums with me on the front, and they bump. Where you get your beats? I heard 93 rappers say like me. 2 singers and 10 comedians, and I'm still gon' yell it every time you see me in.
I see ya.
That's my favorite word. Why they gotta say it like short? You know they can't play on my court. Can't play with the big dog, stay on the court. Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. Where you get that from? Grab a right spin on. Let me get that from. Come on. Do it, baby. 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 I'm living my best life. Ain't going back and forth with you now. I'm living my best life. Ain't going back and forth with you. I'm living my best life.
We can guarantee that come November, if we do our part.
I'm living my best life. Ain't going back and forth with you.
You got a lot to be smiling for. So what the you be wildin' for? Come on, I get my grin on. I'm smiling, cause I always get my win on. I've been on so many different stages. Graced the cover of 100 magazine pages. Made people smile everywhere that I went. I even put it on the first black president. It's evident I'm hot as a crock pot, with a big ass smile like Mr. Hot Spot. You got a lot to be smiling for. So what the you be wildin' for? If you're breathing, you achieving. We having fun this evening, believe that.
I'm living my best life. Ain't going back and forth with you now. I'm living my best life.
We can guarantee that come November, if we do our part.
I'm living my best life. Ain't going back and forth with you now. I'm living my
Mr. White Dog, yeah, I've been foxing a minute, y'all. This one be the reason. Savage life, fox a minute, y'all. You already know what it is, we still riding on the road. We still pulling on, man, look.
I pull it back to good VIP, gas tank on, good on drink.
drinks on me, wipe it out. Fresh kicks, fresh white tall teeth, fresh NFL hat, fresh bows with the crease, wipe it out. Wanna hit me with the heat, real recognize, real, don't speak, wipe it out. Chicken legs, I've been rolling by the week. You can tell I got cake by the diamond in my teeth, wipe it out. Black shades, so you know what, rolling, they ain't check, man, the dust, so ain't gon' tell it while I'm holding, wipe it out. Bad, they gon' bust it wide open, flashing in the bread, but I'm in their approach, wipe it out. Small, tall figures, y'all, crawl, we gon' get and dog, wipe it out. Y'all, call, for my all killer, bitch, it's the end, whoever fall me, cause I'm on, wipe it, 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 let's go, y'all, wipe it, it's go time, cause I'm on, wipe it, cause I'm on, wipe it, cause I'm on, B-O-O-S-I-E-B-H-D-A-T-T, that's me, wipe it out. Red bone caramel, all on top, there, I don't know, I'm trying to steal my underwear, wipe it out. I like a song like Rick Ross, kinda hit, I'll set it off, when I sing it, everybody set it off, wipe it out. Black meat, damn on, I see you, Dr. Dyson. You can go, wipe it out. Fresh face, fresh J's on the corner, playing spades, I'm an ordinary person, but a pain, wipe it out. Box slipping, ready smoking, and we choking off a whole pound of purple famous like the Ninja Turtle. Overhead. Just left New York City, hooked up with Pete Diddy, finna blow past 50, you gon' have overhead. We the best on the fool, on the hitting man, red light, green light, yellow light, get it down. Wipe it, cause I'm on, wipe it, cause I'm on, overhead, 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 cause I'm on, wipe it, 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 cause I'm on. Hot drop, drop, top, drop, drop it like a hot kid. Wipe it out. You see this ice on my wrist, hot glitz, soon as the light hit, you can't lie.
The crowd is coming in. We see how you summon students. We see you use summon.
Wipe it out. Beat, you can hit me way around the corner, paint lit, with the 20 rolls on it, that's a bitch. Wipe it out. Old ladies, baby mama, do Beyonce, white satisfied, who I'm gon' next. Wipe it out. And I use a start a snuggle ahead, use a barrel of it. Wipe it out. Man, the chain hit me for a couple grand. Oh no, I ain't complaining. Just watch how you wipe my chest. Wipe it out. Bad wanted me to stay there longer. I put that up on her, but I had a slight kick. Wipe it out. Chest, pants, shoes. Shoulders, chest, pants, shoes. Shoulders, chest, pants, shoes. Shoulders, chest, pants, shoes. Shoulders, chest, pants, shoes.
Show her in this November. Show her in this November.
I need to hear you.
beside me, yeah, and I won't forget. And I really love you. You should know. I'm gonna make sure I'm right, girl, before I let go. We've had a good time. That's advocacy. We've heard of each other. Girl, it's a shame. I won't be foolish, no. I won't know. I'm gonna make sure I'm right, girl, before I let go. Yeah. You know I think the sun rises and shines on you. You know there's nothing I would not do. Before I let you go. I would never let you go before.
All right, Urban Leaguers. We know what we're here for. We know what we came to do. So we're going to do a lot of call and response. We've been practicing this already. But when I say reclaim, you say your vote. Reclaim? Reclaim? Come on, it's a lot more in here for us to be this quiet. When I say reclaim, you say your vote. Reclaim? Reclaim? That's beautiful. All right? What do we want? Come on, y'all. What do we want? What do we want it? What do we want? What do we want it? What do we want? What do we want it? That's beautiful, y'all. This is just a warm-up. This is just a warm-up. Tell me what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. Tell me what America looks like. Tell me what unity looks like. Tell me what unity looks like. You're beautiful, y'all. Play this.
Hold up. One more time, baby, let me know if you're good to go. I say, hold up. I say, One more time, baby, let me know if you're good to go. I said, hold up. Yeah. Special dedication going out to all of y'all, and I swear I hope you're having a ball, baby. I'm getting ready. Yes I am. Couldn't call somebody, goddamn. Go ahead, baby. My name ain't Sam, and I don't need no ham on floor. Here we go. Special dedication going out to Trent, Mike, all that business crew. Wait a minute. One more time, baby, let me know if you're good to go. I said, hold on.
All right, welcome to the Reclaim Your Vote rally. Are y'all excited? We want you to visit the Reclaim Your Vote table in the lobby to get registered to vote, check your voter registration status, and sign up to be a poll worker We also have Reclaim Your Vote signature merchandise for sale, signature sling packs and t-shirts and other National Urban League swag. So meet us in the lobby. And for our social media users joining us online and in the audience, please follow us at NAT Urban League, NAT Urban League on all platforms, and take a moment to update your Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter status using the hashtag NULCONF24, NULCONF24. And without further ado, our national president and CEO, Mark Morial.
Michael Eric Dyson in the house. Give it up for brother Michael Eric Dyson. So first of all, welcome to the Xavier University. Give it up for Xavier University. Say reclaim. I don't hear you. Say reclaim. Say reclaim. Reclaim my vote. Reclaim your vote. Reclaim our vote. Reclaim our vote. Reclaim our vote. Give yourselves a round of applause. I am so excited and delighted that all of you have come out to this beautiful Xavier University Convocation Center. And we have come not only to New Orleans, but we've come to this great, historically black university. And we've come here because it represents one of over 100 historically black universities all across the nation who just graduated tens of thousands of young people who are beginning their careers. So let's give all of those young people a round of applause as we thank them so much. I want to take a minute before we get into the conversation here to let you know why we are here. There's 16 of the country's 19 historically black land-grant universities have been underfunded by their states by a total of $13 billion over the last 30 years. Tennessee has been the worst offender at $2.1 billion. But instead of acting to rectify the years of unlawful shortchanging, that state's governor and that state's legislature dissolved the university's board of trustees. Shame on them. By underfunding public HBCUs, state lawmakers are erecting barriers to success. So we're here today to say, save HBCUs. Say save. Save. Save our HBCUs. The new, Dr. Dyson, Southern Manifesto, the vow to uphold segregation that Southern congressmen signed after the Brown v. Board of Education, has reemerged. It's wrapped in a new suit. That new suit is called Project 2025. Now, we won't be tricked and we won't be fooled. Project 2025 even goes further than what I call the old Dixie Manifesto. It seeks to re-implement a rigid social hierarchy that oppresses not only people of color, but women, non-Christians, the LGBT community, working families, and immigrants. It is a blueprint. It is a blueprint for radical, repressive, oppressive, and regressive regime policies, one that could uproot foundations of democracy. We say to Project 2025, say not on our watch. Say not on our watch. In 3.5 years, since the deadly
January 6th, insurrection at the Capitol, more than 1,800 laws have been introduced all across this nation. They have a singular purpose: to make it more difficult for people to vote. And they are targeted at black people, immigrants, disabled Americans, non-English speaking Americans, college students, and other young Americans. We say no to voter suppression. Say no. No voter suppression. And we say we will fight to defend democracy, not because it is perfect. We know it isn't perfect. We know it's got flaws, but it is better than autocracy. We will not go back. So join me in saying defend. Say defend. Defend democracy now. All across this nation, we witness public officials who've embraced this type of thinking. The vice presidential nominee for one party has already indicated that he would abuse his constitutional authority to reject the results of a free and fair election. So we must pass, as our highest legislative priority in January, the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act and the Freedom to Vote Act. So join me in saying John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. Pass it now. Pass it now. Pass it now. The Freedom to Vote Act, which is a companion piece of legislation, would also further protect American democracy. Say Freedom to Vote Act. Freedom to Vote Act. Pass it now. Pass it now. Pass it now. We've seen racial justice initiatives in college admissions wiped out by a regressive Supreme Court. We've seen the Fearless Fund, a small program designed to assist black women business owners who've been locked out of the capital markets, attacked by the same high-powered, big-money people who are behind Project 2025. This is the fruit of the same poisonous tree. So we say we're going to fight. We will fight to demand diversity now. Say demand. Demand. Demand diversity now. Poverty remains an existential challenge to our community. The racial income and racial wealth gap remain the most important unfinished business of the struggles of the 1950s and the 1960s. But it doesn't have to be. We say pass a national living wage bill and do it now. Say we want a living wage bill. And we want it now. We want it when? We want it when? We come today, as we do as urban leaguers, with purpose. We come today because we are here to inform and inspire. We come today because we will not leave what we've learned and what we poured into each other here at Xavier. You're going to take it back to Atlanta, Augusta, and Columbus, Georgia. You're going to take it back to Rolling Fork, Jackson, and Edutainment, Mississippi. you're going to take it back to the Bronx and the Queens and Brooklyn, and you're going to take it back to the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection, Philadelphia. Will you take it back? Will you take it back? So we are here to hear from some incredible people who are going to inform and inspire us. I am so excited that we have with us who is going to bring us, as we say, our primary message today, the incomparable scholar and activist, Brother Michael Eric Dyson, who we're going to hear from a little later. But as we begin, I want to invite two very important people here to the stage. One, the president of the Urban League of Louisiana, who's helped us bring all of this together, Judy Reese-Morse. And she is going to be followed, and I ask him to join her on stage right now, by the president celebrating 10 years at Xavier University. As its president, just announced that Xavier is going to be opening a brand new medical school. See Reno Verrett.
I know you can do better than that. You must do better than that. Let your response be reflective of what we are going to commit to do together every single day from this day forward. Hello, everyone. That's it. That's it. I'm Judy Reese-Morse. I'm so honored to serve as the president and CEO of the Urban League of Louisiana, and I want to thank our leader, native son of New Orleans, former mayor of New Orleans, and our president and CEO of the National Urban League. Give it up for Mark Heidel-Morial. Thank you, Mark, for your leadership. I'm so honored to be standing next to this gentleman, Dr. C.R. Verrett. And Dr. Verrett, I want to thank you. Thank you first and foremost for serving as a member of the board of directors of the Urban League of Louisiana, but also thank you for opening your beautiful university and your home to the National Urban League. We have almost 400 young people from across the United States of America who have been living here at Xavier University, starting at the beginning of the week all the way through the end of the week. They're here. Everything that I'm hearing is that they love Xavier University, and sorry for wherever else you guys are out there, but I think they all are going to be choosing Xavier University to come to. I'm just saying, this is what I'm hearing. But thank you, Dr. Verrett, for making them feel so much at home. I have some other people that I want to thank very quickly. We have a number of people here. Senator Royce Duplessis from New Orleans is here. Councilwoman Leslie Harris. Councilman Oliver Thomas. Councilmember Eugene Green, our district attorney, Jason Williams. And for every New Orleans Greek, would you please stand? Please stand and be recognized. But a special, special, special recognition must go to the sorors of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. You know it. You know it. I want to recognize all of the Greeks from New Orleans because they have been working with the Urban League of Louisiana. They make phone calls with us. They knock on doors with us. They strategize with us. Whenever we call on them, they show up. So to every NOLA Greek here today and those who may be watching and listening, thank you from the bottom of our hearts at the Urban League of Louisiana. And finally, someone very special is celebrating a birthday today. You all know him. You all love him. You've watched him on the news. You've heard his political analysis. Dr. Silas Lee. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Dr. Lee. Happy birthday. So I won't be long. But I want to start off by focusing in on the one thing that you need to know and that you need to remember when you leave here today. You need to really deeply understand how powerful your vote is. I mean, like, you have to really, really, really deeply understand. You're going to hear from some tremendous civil rights leaders today. You've already heard from one. But I want each of you to understand that each of you is a civil rights leader. Every single one of us is a civil rights leader because every single one of us had someone in their family who fought for us to be seated in this space right now, today, to be having this conversation. So every single one of us is a civil rights leader in our own rights, and each one of us has a responsibility to use our power, to use our voice, and our voice is our vote. We know what's happening here in Louisiana. We have a governor who has decided that young people do not deserve the right to have healthy food during the summer. We have a governor who has decided that after people moved around the state of Louisiana and said that healthy food choices in neighborhoods is a priority, and the legislature voted for it, he decided that's not important, and he vetoed it. So we are up against the odds, but we can overcome those odds by simply understanding what we already possess. Our power is our vote. So I'm going to ask you to repeat. Our power is our vote. Our power is our vote. Our power is our vote. Please remember that. Please remember that. You don't have to get permission from anybody. It doesn't cost you anything. You already possess it. We just have to use it. So use your vote, use your voice, and let's get busy, everybody. Let's get busy. Thank you, Dr. Verrett.
Well, let me thank Judy Reese-Morse and also Mark Morial for bringing you to our house. Welcome to Xavier. And I just want to repeat what Judy said. Our power is our vote. There are people who came before us, who struggled, who bled, so that I am here today, so that you are here today. And what we should remember is that we do not vote for ourselves because it's not about me. We vote because there's somebody else who needs our vote. We vote to protect somebody we haven't met and somebody we have met. We vote to defend somebody who needs to be defended. We vote to defend children who are not even born yet. We vote because we are a people and a community, and we are responsible for each other. Somebody was responsible for me. Each of us, we vote not because of what it can do for me, but because someone, somewhere, somehow will be blessed by our vote. So let's vote. Let's get up and do what we are called to do because someone did it for you.
Say, we vote for we, not me. We vote for we, not me. We vote for we, for we. Give yourselves a hand. Incredible leaders have walked the walk since 1910 in the Urban League. The heart of the Urban League movement is our dynamic network of community-based affiliates. 92 strong. 36 states and the District of Columbia, big cities, small communities, urban and suburban, big and small, all across the nation. News flash from Dr. Silas Lee, who does our census, who just shared with me that the Urban League movement in the last year served 3.8 million people, 3.8 million people. And that's a modern record, exceeding last year's 3.0 million. Right now, I want to invite three leaders who are at the heart of our work in local communities. William Barnes, President of the Advisory Council of Executives, is also the President and CEO of the Birmingham Urban League. If he would come now, give it up for William Barnes.
Y'all thought I was gonna say that.
And everybody feels the same. It's a unanimous decision. I said we're ready for change. Yeah, give it up. Give people what they want.
Y'all give it up for the DJ. Give it up for the DJ. To President Barrett, President Morial, to the President of Louisiana Urban League, Judy Reese-Morris, y'all give a round of applause for these leaders. I stand before you to bring a few words, but I don't do that by myself. I represent and want to acknowledge the generals, the 4-star generals across this country that do this work and lead us every single day in our communities, and that is the President and CEOs of the Urban League movement. Would y'all give them a round of applause for their work? Give it up, give it up, give it up for that work. You know, in 1968, there were two men that raised their fists at the Olympic Games. And they did so in defiance of what we knew at the time. When you do the math of 1963 to 1968, there was still strife. We were still fighting. And they not only did it for the purposes of supporting black communities and in support of black communities, they did it for the sake of humanity. And it was human rights, not only just for African Americans, but for all folks. We saw the injustices that were happening. And so what I'd like for you to do is to remember one thing. We need to show in this country that's from sea to signing sea, that when we rise, we take back the fist that was so-called being put out there, right? We have the orange one that calls himself trying to take it from us. So I need us to take it back. I need us to take back our power. As a matter of fact, I want to take it back to 2008, at a time when our activation as African American community put President Barack Obama in the White House. And what did he say to us? He said, fired up, fired up, fired up. He also said, he rephrased, ever forward and never backward. Ever forward, never backwards. All right, let's get the call and response. Ever forward, never backwards. Got it? Ever forward, never backwards. I think we need to understand something as I close. I think we know how dire this is. What I need to be sure that we do, when you look to the person to the left or right of you, when you talk to your neighbors to the left and the right of you,
when you talk to your teachers, when you talk to young people, we need to ensure two things happen. That we don't let anybody sing us lullabies and rock us to sleep. Let me say that again. We need to make sure that we don't let the media and or anyone else sing us lullabies and rock us to sleep. We also need to be sure that we don't allow anyone to peel not one single vote from this community. We know what the right thing is to do, and we don't agree necessarily with anyone 100% of the time. But I can tell you this, without me having to tell you who you should vote for, I think you know who you should be voting for and who stands for our overall rights in our communities. It is without question. Now, in closing, I'll say this. We went to sleep in 2016. Don't you dare do it again. Look to your neighbor and say, don't dare do it again. Look to the right, say, don't dare do it again. Look to the left, say, don't dare do it again. Raise your fist and say, don't dare do it again. Let's go. Let's go. C, the sign is C. Let's have a black wave of support for our communities.
Say, don't dare. Don't dare. Don't dare do it again. Don't dare do it again. Give William a big round of applause. Thank him for his leadership. The volunteer component of the Urban League movement is represented first by beginning in 1942. A woman by the name of Molly Moon had a vision to create a volunteer corps called the National Urban League Council of Guilds. 50 years later, the leadership had the vision to create the National Urban League Young Professionals. We're going to hear from both leaders of both, but in bringing on Shalonda Hollingshed, who's the president of the National Urban League Young Professionals, we want to affirm that it is now their 25th anniversary. The silver anniversary of the National Urban League Young Professionals. She's been a great leader. She's a established, accomplished young professional in her career, and she's led the National Urban League Young Professionals. Shalonda Hollingshed.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, as mentioned, my name is Shalonda Hollingshed, and I serve as president of the National Urban League Young Professionals, and it's an honor to join you today here at the rally. As President Marielle has mentioned, this is a historic and significant milestone for us. 25th anniversary for the National Urban League Young Professionals. Founded in 1999, NULYP was established to serve as a pipeline for future leaders in this movement. And for over 25 years, thousands of young professionals have risen to the challenge with passion and dedication. Now, as we reflect on this milestone, I must also acknowledge that the struggle for justice is far from over. Discrimination, inequalities, hatred, health disparities, social injustice persists, demanding our collective commitment to creating lasting change. In these crucial and unprecedented times, our leadership is more important than ever. We are witnessing a period of profound change and uncertainty, and our communities need our strength and our resilience. As we look ahead to the upcoming election, our role becomes very critical. We must stand up and vote, ensuring our voices are heard. But it doesn't stop there. We must also encourage our peers, our family, and our friends to participate. Voter participation is the bedrock of our democracy, and it's through our collective action that we can see meaningful change. Let us be the voice that advocates for justice, equity, and progress. Let us continue to build on the legacy of this movement, shaping a future where every individual has the opportunity to thrive. This road to freedom and progress is not easy, but I am hopeful because of individuals like you. Individuals who understand the power they possess to change the world around them. So in the words of Thurgood Marshall, Where you see wrong or inequality or injustice, speak out, because this is your country. This is your democracy. Make it, protect it, and pass it on. Thank you.
One more time, let's say happy birthday. Happy birthday, young professionals, and many more. He is the cleanest dresser in the Urban League movement. Without doubt and without question. But he leads the National Council of Urban League Guilds, a historic arm of the Urban League movement. And he's here to share with us today on behalf of all guilders nationwide. Ladies and gentlemen, Brother Bobby Scott.
The big payback, huh? Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues and fellow advocates of justice, we gather here today at Xavier University, united in purpose and resolute in our mission. As we stand in this pivotal moment in our nation's history, we must recognize that our voices, our votes, and our actions have never been more crucial. The theme of my address is simple yet profound. We must vote. These three words encapsulate the very essence of our democracy and the power we hold as citizens to shape our collective future. Our rights to vote is not just a privilege. It is the cornerstone of our democracy, the foundation upon which we build a more just and equitable society. Yet this fundamental right faces unprecedented challenges: voter suppression, gerrymandering, and attempts to undermine the integrity of our elections threaten the very fabric of our democratic process. We are not powerless. We are not voiceless. We are the National Urban League. Our history is one of resilience, perseverance, and triumph in the faces of adversity. As we reclaim our vote, we must remember the sacrifices of those who came before us, the brave men and women who marched, who bled, and who died so that we could have the right to cast our ballots freely and fairly. We owe it to them and to the future generations to exercise this hard-won right with unwavering commitment. Our vote is our voice in the ongoing struggle for equality. It is our weapon against injustice, our tool for change, and our pathway to progress. When we vote, we demand diversity in our institutions, in our leadership, and in our policies. We vote to defend democracy, to ensure that every citizen, regardless of race, gender, or social economic status, has an equal say in the direction of our nation. We vote to defeat poverty, to create opportunity for the economic advancement, and to build stronger, more resilient communities. And yes, we vote to restore and advance the rights of women, because when women's voices are heard at the ballot box, our entire society benefits. We cannot claim to be a true democracy while half our population face systemic barriers to equality. But voting alone is not enough. We must be informed voters, engaged citizens who understand the issues and the impact of our choices. We must be advocates who educate and empower others to participate in the democratic process. As president of the National Council of Urban League Guilds, I call upon each of you not only to vote, but to become ambassadors for democracy. Reach out to your neighbors, your co-workers, your family members. Ensure they are registered to vote, that they know their rights, that they understand the power they hold in their hands. Remember, every election matters. from local school boards to the highest offices in the land. Our voices shape the policies that affect our daily lives. We cannot afford to sit on the sidelines. We cannot be silent. We must vote. In conclusion, let us leave this rally today with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. Let us carry the spirit of this gathering into our communities, our workplaces, our homes. Let us make "We must vote" not just a slogan, but a call to action that resonates across this great nation. Together we can reclaim our vote. Together we can defend democracy, demand diversity, and defeat poverty. Together we can build a more perfect union where justice rolls down like waters, the righteous like a mighty stream. Thank you, and may God bless our ongoing fight for equity and justice. Thank you.
Visit the Reclaim Your Vote table in the lobby to get registered to vote. Check your voter registration status and sign up to be a poll worker. We also have Reclaim Your Vote signature merchandise for sale, signature sling packs and t-shirts, and other National Urban League swag. Meet us in the lobby. And go to reclaimyourvote.org to sign up. Thank you.
Next, ladies and gentlemen, we have a dynamic person who's been leading the effort to get out the vote all across this nation. Now, she hails from an educational standpoint from the University of California at Berkeley. But I asked her, where'd she start? And she said, Savannah, Georgia. Give it up for Savannah, Georgia. And give it up for Savannah, Georgia's own Director of National Organizing for When We All Vote, Amanda Hollowell.
Thank you so much. And yes, I'm very proud to be from Savannah, Georgia. I raised my son there. He is now at Coastal Carolina University. I wanted him to go to HBCU, but you know how things are. Kids have their own minds. But first, I want to thank the National Urban League and the president, Mr. Morrell, and Xavier University for opening up their campus, for having these type of moments. It is extremely important. When we were founded in 2018 by Mrs. Michelle Obama, our former First Lady, we thought it was a pivotal moment then for her to speak out, to make sure and understand that we all needed to be engaged in voting. Well, now it's even more pivotal. Voting is not just a right, it's a powerful tool to shape our communities and our future. When we all vote, we're making a statement about the kind of world we want to live in. When we all vote, we amplify our voice. Each vote is a building block and the foundation of our democracy. When we all vote, we protect our rights. The right to vote was hard-won and precious. By voting, we honor the struggles and sacrifices of those who came before us. When we all vote, we drive change. Whether it's advocating for a better school, safer neighborhoods, or a cleaner environment, our votes are directly impact the issues that we care about. Voting is how we hold our leaders accountable and how we push for progress. So, it's not only the presidential race that is on the ballot this year. There are issues that matter to you and I, and the people who are making those decisions are also on the ballot this year. So they decide how much gas is, what our parking tickets are, and, if we get that refund from the airline, which they should give me this morning because I was late, and also if our student loans are forgiven. So let's make a promise today. Let's commit to showing up at the polls, bringing our friends, our families, our neighbors, and making our voices heard. Because when we all vote, we all win. Thank you.
Say defend. Say defend democracy. Defend democracy now. Defend democracy now. There are 400 young people. Thank you very much. We have about 400 young people who are resident here at Xavier University. Once again, thank you, Xavier University. And they are part of the young people that our affiliates serve each and every day of the week of the month, and month of the year. And those young people are in programs like Project Ready and many other programs. I had an opportunity to spend yesterday evening with them, and we did a little astronomy quiz. And they answered some questions I know none of you all can answer. Name all of the planets in size order. Tell me how far the sun is from the earth. And you should have seen them when I put that $100 incentive in front of them. Their eyes perked up, their brains turned on, and it was incredible. So let's give it up for the intelligence of our young people, the brilliance of our young people. Give it up for the promise of all of our young people, especially those here for the Youth Summit, representing the National Urban League Youth Summit participants. I am proud to introduce an incredibly talented, incredibly promising participant in the Youth Summit who got one of those questions correct yesterday. Give it up for Madison Caldwell.
Good afternoon. My name is Madison Caldwell. I'm a recent high school graduate. I am the youth ambassador for the National Urban League. I'm from Springfield, Illinois, and I will be attending Howard University in the fall. I am 18 years old, and this will be my first year and my honor to vote in this upcoming historic presidential election, with the potential of the first female president of the United States of America being elected. I know that voting is my civic duty. Voting preserves democracy. Voting is my right as an American citizen. Voting can determine my future. Voting cannot be taken for granted, and voting is important. Yet, I am not excited to exercise this privilege. I am not excited to vote. I am afraid or nervous that either candidate's victory could result in the same response. I fear that one candidate winning could result in a riot of protest, while the triumph of their opposition could invoke a riot of victory. For me, I believe that either outcome will occur some sort of casualty, and loss is inevitable for all outcomes. However, despite this discouraging political environment, I will still choose to vote. I will hold on to the hope that regardless of the outcome, our country will remain at peace, with a peaceful transition of power and a peaceful acceptance of the presidency from all citizens. I know that despite my worries, I must use my voice and power as an African American woman, because every time a person chooses not to vote, they elect to forego their voice, power, and privilege as an American citizen. In the United States, African Americans and women and other people of color were not always afforded the right to vote. With their citizenship and civil rights being completely disregarded during this time, the voices, values, and inclinations of all American people were diminished to one small privileged group. Today, this reality no longer stands. Today, every citizen, regardless of race or gender, has the right to vote because everyone's voice matters. Today, no one has an excuse. Your vote will determine the representatives who serve you in office. Your vote will influence the policies and laws that will affect you. Your vote will hold leaders accountable for their successes as well as their failures. And your vote honors the suffrage of the people who came before you and fought for you to exercise your God-given right as an American citizen. Your vote alone may seem insignificant to you, but together with all the citizens of the United States of America, everyone's vote will reflect the will of the American people. So, as this presidential election approaches, do not be discouraged or demoralized. Instead, be inspired to use your voice and advocate for your future and for the future of your country, for this election and for all elections to come. Thank you for your time. Now, it is my great pleasure to be here with you today. I have the absolute honor of introducing our next guest. He is a globally recognized rapper, motivational speaker, and political activist who works diligently for voting rights. Get ready to be edutained, and please help me welcome Yellow Pain.
Don't let them tell you that your vote don't count.
Hey, first thing first, you know back in middle school when they told us it was 3 branches of the government, we forgot it when we got older. It's the judicial, the legislative, and executive. But all we know is the executive. That's the mayor or the governor and the president. Now none of them 3 people make no laws, they just be checking them. The laws come to their desk and all they do is say no or yes to it. So when the news station tried to tell us that Barack Obama couldn't put us on, we was all sorry at Obama when it was the Congress members all along. We gotta focus on the legislative branch. Yeah, they the ones that make the laws. Yeah, they the ones like how much food stamp money you get on a card. But when people that wanted to help us wanted the job, I know they probably lost. Cause we ain't even know their name, we ain't know their face, we ain't know at all. So the Congress or the State House, that's legislative, they make laws. So what we want from the president is what they do. Okay, y'all? See, they election every 2 years, but we don't never even go to those. The Congress take a raise minimum wage, but we ain't even really know it though. So you know how back in 08, when we all voted for Obama, we was all supposed to go back in 2010 and vote for the Congress. Cause they the ones make child support laws. They the ones choosing if your kids at school get to eat steak or corn dogs. The State House make the corn costs. So if the country failed, then you can't say it's them, it's your fault. Cause y'all ain't gonna vote for Congress members that was for y'all. And they don't gotta leave after 4 years, and we just let them sit. See, they don't wanna tell you this, they want you to focus on the president. Now the third branch is the judicial, that's judges. They the reason why John Crawford and Trayvon had justice. So when Meek Mill got locked up just for popping willies, we blame the judge, not the city. When they let her get voted in, cause they ain't know who to vote against. Imagine life on the other side. Roads better, schools better, everybody get their license back. Grocery store food better, custody of your kids back. Homeless people get new shelters. If we gonna fix the U.S., we gotta start with them 2 letters. Me and you, somebody told us that the government wanna keep us broke. But the only reason why those people in the government is cause we ain't vote. And I ain't talking about the president, I'm talking about the ones we ain't know. See, they was gonna try to keep it low, but it's gonna hurt them when they see the polls. Let me hear you say, my vote will count. A little bit louder. Let me hear you say, my vote will count. Real quick. It's a big misconception in our communities, right? I hear a lot of people say, what has voting ever actually done for black people? Like, what has voting ever actually done for our communities? But I have a better question that might require a little bit of accountability, you know? What all hasn't happened for our community, specifically because our people are refusing to vote consistently? You know what I mean? Real quick. Every 4 years, every 2 years, politicians, organizations, they go hire like a bunch of rappers or influencers, and they try to get the kids engaged in voting. And then when the numbers come back and the numbers is low, they get discouraged, and they're like, oh, well, these kids probably don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just probably can't get them to care, and they get discouraged real fast. But it's not that they don't care. It's that they don't know what they care for. Let's be honest. And I can say that with my chest because I was one of those kids. Oh, I was fresh 18. I went to vote, you know what I'm saying? And after I voted, a year later, I was still broke. I'm talking about broke, sleeping on the floor. It wasn't nothing you could tell me to make me think that, like, oh, yeah, voting is important. That's going to change my life. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing you could tell me. But it's because nobody taught me. Nobody taught us. And nobody is teaching us. But that's what we're here for today. You know what I mean? We got to start pushing education. So one more time, let me hear you say, my vote will count. Thank you.
Let's thank Yellow Pain. And let's thank him for being straight up and candid with us and letting us know we have more work to do. See, sometimes we talk about young people instead of to and with them. How much time do we spend when we have time? How much time do we take away from what we feel we have to do to have a conversation with young people about history? How much time do we take to listen to what they have to say and what their perspective is? So every moment here is a moment to learn. We have some great civil rights leaders with us who work with us all the time. I'm so proud that my sister Melanie Campbell is here. I'm going to ask her to stand now. Melanie Campbell leads the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation. She's one of the Civil Rights 8 who work together on a range of issues. She's my sister for a long time. We've been in this fight since we were both very young activists working. So give it up for Melanie Campbell. We want to bring it close to home right now. Right here, down here in New Orleans, we have coming up next two outstanding leaders who fight every day for the people. One up the road in Baton Rouge, that's where our state legislature is located, and he is State Senator Royce Duplessis. He will be followed by the council member from District E, the former council member from District B, and the former council member at large, Oliver Thomas. They are going to come at this time. Please greet them with a National Urban League welcome. Royce Duplessis first.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor. Welcome, Urban League. It's great to be here with you all this afternoon at what I consider to be much more than a gathering. This is a call to action. This is a call to action where we individually and collectively will reclaim the power that each of us hold. We're here today at the historic Xavier University, of which I am a proud alum. And I want to take a quick second to give another round of applause for Madison. I mean, she was outstanding. And I want to see if Dr. Verrett, can we make another run at Madison to get her to come to Xavier? Is it? Well, I'm a Howard grad too, so we winning on both levels. But we're here today to discuss something that is foundational to our democracy, and that's our right to vote, our power to vote. We're living in times of great challenges, but more importantly, we're living in times of great change. And I know this because on Monday morning, I had never been contacted by so many people asking me, what can I do to help? I want to get this person registered. This person thinks they can't vote. See, that's real. We're in times of change because we weren't having those conversations on Saturday. We weren't having those conversations on Sunday. So I don't think this is a time for us to ask whether or not this is a real moment. This is a time for action. This is a time for us to be inspired and not scared. This is a time for us to be inspired by the legacy of people like Dr. Rudy Lombard, who in 1961, right here at Xavier University, as a senior, organized and put together a safe space for freedom riders who were coming to New Orleans with the assistance and leadership of people like Dr. Norman C. Francis. Those are the legacies that should inspire us in this very moment. It was once said that a man can't ride your back unless it's bent. Those were words from Dr. King in Memphis, Tennessee in 1968, the night before he was assassinated. Those words resonate with me because I believe that to choose not to vote is a vote against yourself. Now, I know I'm preaching to the choir because everybody here votes. But we know the friends, we know the family members, we know those in our community who still question whether or not that vote matters. And now more than ever, we have to remind our friends, our family, our community that to choose not to vote is a vote against ourselves. And remind them that we are not just voting for a name on a ballot. And as inspired and as excited I am by the name that's going to be on the ballot this November, you best believe I'm ready. But it's more than that. It's about the legacy of those who gave us this right. People like I said, Dr. Lombard, Lolis Eli, A.P. Turo, Aretha Castle Haley, Dutch Morial, another proud Xavier alum, and so many more who gave us the very right that we have today. We're voting for the countless number of people in our communities whose lives have been cut short by gun violence. Names like Sonia Massey. These are the people who we are voting for. We're voting for the countless communities who are suffering by violent policies that are being passed by state legislatures like the one I have the honor of serving in, where organizations like the Urban League, the Divine Nine, churches throughout this nation are going to have to now register with the Secretary of State in order to register people to vote. These are the kind of laws that are being passed right here. That's why we're voting. We're voting for women's reproductive rights. We're voting for greater access to health care, education, and an economy that works for all of us. We're voting for our future. We're voting for our family. We're voting for us. Our vote is our voice. In 2008, President Obama said, yes, we can. And he showed us. I think it's time we go a little bit further and say, yes, we will. Our vote is our voice, and it's time we reclaim it. Thank y'all so much.
Y'all better put your hand together and slap order for that man. Captain Charles. Y'all ready to hype this thing up? No, we need some energy, right? Look, the political speeches are fine, right? But a lot of our people not getting that, right? We need a feeling that go from Xavier all the way up to Niagara, right? And from Niagara all the way over to Compton, right? And from Compton all the way over to Palm Beach. Because this ain't just about this day. We got to be motivated after this day. Ain't that right, Captain Charles?
Thinking of a master plan. This ain't nothing but spread inside my hand. So I take it to my pocket on my money spent. So I can default, but still coming up.
Cut it. Now, Eric B. and Rakim, they rewrote that. Right? They're thinking of a master plan. Ain't nothing but my ancestors' blood and sweat still inside my hand. So I digged into my pocket, right in my heart, and still came up with lint. And I think about all the money they took, not what I spent. So I thought my mission, I left my residence. Thinking about how could we make Kamala president? We need our money. Not blaming those stick-up kids. Thinking about all the devious stuff Trump did. Mr. Morial, yeah, the Supreme Court trying to roll up, but no, we gotta say, hold up. They ain't nothing funny. Be still. Don't nothing move. We waiting on our money. That's how serious this is. It's going to take an energy and a movement to move my people where they start not only to believe in us, but when I move, you move. Just like that. Hey, man, take my speech, blow all that shit up. All that shit up. We need an energy so deep and so profound that our people see us naked and stripped of all these pretty suits and all of the goodness and all the titles that we have, so they can see us like we see them, right? And like I said at a conference earlier, I'm not concerned about the gap between white folk and black folk. I'm concerned about the gap between black folk and black folk. When the black elite come back home, we know home's safe. When those of us who made it, right, with this, I love them people with their little pretty lives, right? But when our kids can see you naked and stripped, right? When you can share with them the times that you wasn't at your best, then they'll know that you can forgive them when they're not at their best. Now I want y'all to say this with me. My vote? Point at your neighbor. Your vote? Go vote.
Council Member Oliver Thomas, give it up. Thank you, brother, for being here. Royce Duplessis, thank you for being here. Let me also acknowledge the presence of Council Member Eugene Green. Stand up, Eugene Green. And I just, as a point of personal privilege, Eugene was a member of my administration, held a number of positions, really got the effort for black businesses to be involved in city government rolling back in 1994, 1995, and 1996, now serving on the city council. Give it up for Eugene Green. And then Councilmember Oliver Thomas, back on the city council, was one of, we all got elected in 1994. We were all in our mid-30s. We ran a youth movement, Oliver, in this city. And you know, for the record, we're still in our 30s. Right? Because it's all in how you move. It's all in how you think. Right? So let the record reflect. But Oliver was a part, we had a 5-person coalition, and we moved a lot of things in those days: youth programs, police reform. Also present, I saw him, I don't know where he is, former chief of police, the Honorable Eddie Campos, right here. Chief Campos was the first leader of our community policing effort that we started back, Oliver, remember, 94, Eugene, 95, the COPS operation. We brought down the killings that were taking place in public housing, almost brought it down to 0, and did it without having issues of police brutality and police misconduct, which I would not stand for. So give it up for Chief Campos. And then the first woman to serve as police chief in this town is with us, Michelle Woodfork. She was an officer and a captain and comes from an incredible legacy of law enforcement in this city. I'm just so glad that they are here. We're moving along. We're running a tad bit late, but that's okay. That's okay. So right now, I want to recognize 2 people. First, the president and CEO of the Women's Foundation of the South, Carmen James Randolph, and then the co-founder and co-executive director of the U.S. Youth Climate Strike, Isra Hersey. So they will come in that order to offer quick and sharp remarks as we move to make up time. Please greet them.
Good afternoon. From sit-ins to bus boycotts to marches, the South has always summoned change. Right now, the stakes are not only high for us, but for generations to come. Are we bearing witness to a return to antebellum South? Rampant regressive legislation across the South threatens our access to economic empowerment, higher education, and reproductive care and rights. As a public foundation founded by us, for us, the Women's Foundation of the South exists to build health, wealth, and power for women and girls of color in the South. We are committed to advancing just policies and deeper investments in our community. Our call to action is to #ShiftTheSouth. We're calling for things like expansion of Medicaid, equal pay for equal work across genders and race, family leave with pay, and body autonomy and safe access to abortion, especially in cases when it's medically necessary. We are so proud to stand with the Urban League and call on everyone to vote. Your voice matters. Your vote matters. Your leadership matters. Your support matters. We must vote on behalf of our lives and the generations who will follow. Together, we can shift the South, and as a result, we will change this nation. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Isra Hersey. I'm born and raised in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and a rising senior at Columbia University. From a young age, my parents instilled in me the belief that I have the power to change the world, no matter my race, gender identity, or religion, and for a long time, I believed it wholeheartedly. However, as I entered spaces where no one looked like me or shared my experiences, I realized the importance of inclusivity. I was often told to be quiet and to stay in my lane, and that climate issues weren't for people that look like me. But I refused to stay silent. Community members would tell me that I'm not prioritizing Black issues. But for me, the climate crisis has always been a Black issue. From New Orleans to Flint, Michigan, the climate crisis impacts everyone, but disproportionately African Americans. My want for a people-focused approach to climate is deeply tied to helping Black people and other underserved communities achieve true social parity and economic self-reliance. By promoting education, job training, and community development, we empower individuals to shape their destinies. Environmental justice is a part of this empowerment, ensuring everyone has access to a safe and healthy environment. Creating spaces where inclusion is a daily conversation and intersectionality is not just talk, but action is crucial. The U.S. Youth Climate Strike is proof of the spaces I wanted to see. We organized millions of young people in climate strikes and policy initiatives because young people, especially those of color, deserve a say in their futures. Making space for young people is vital for our development. No one should be silenced because of their race. Thank you so much for hearing me out, especially as a young girl from the Midwest who happens to also be a climate organizer. Together, we can break barriers and fulfill the true equity and empowerment mission for us all. Thank you.
In your heart, and I know that it is love, and the place was bright.
time again. We need you to visit the Reclaim Your Vote table in the lobby to get registered to vote. Check your voter registration status and sign up to be a poll worker. We also have Reclaim Your Vote signature merchandise for sale, signature sling packs and t-shirts and other National Urban League swag. Meet us in the lobby and go to reclaimyourvote.org for all the information about the campaign and to sign up. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I also want to acknowledge the presence of the leader of New Orleans' interdenominational ministerial alliance. We had a chance to spend some time together to plan on voting. The Reverend Willie Gable. Give it up for Reverend Willie Gable. Stand up, Reverend Gable. Thank you for being here. And also want to acknowledge the baddest, most bodacious DJ anywhere in the country, the unmatched, incomparable Captain Charles Leach. Bringing to the stage another one of our local elected officials who's championed public safety and balanced public safety with justice reform. He is the district attorney for the city of New Orleans, Jason Williams.
There's too many of you crying. Brother, brother, brother.
I'm going to make my remarks brief because I know I'm speaking to the choir here today and we got a lot of work to do over the next few months. There are no coincidences. There are no accidents. It is not serendipity that my mayor, my president, son of New Orleans, brought the Calgary to this place. Because just a few miles from here was a site of where folks tried to fight back Reconstruction by attacking and killing the first integrated police department in the city of New Orleans, the Metropolitan Police Department, much like what happened at our nation's capital when we fell asleep in 2016. It is not a coincidence that you brought this army here to the place where just a few miles down the road, Homer Plessy and a group of ordinary citizens plotted and began the blueprint that became the architecture for the modern civil rights movement by boarding that rail car because he knew that law was wrong. See, New Orleans has been an epicenter for fighting for this country for a very long time. It's no coincidence that you're here because just a few miles further down the road in Bogalusa, Louisiana, where my mother grew up, I had two uncles, Moses Watterson and Ray Watterson, who worked with a group of men called the Deacons of Defense to fight for civil rights workers when they were just trying to make things better so that we could vote. Not so that we could encourage each other to vote, so that we could go to the polls without violence, right? So I will say to you today, your vote matters more now than it ever has. We have never been closer to fulfilling all of the promises this country has made. But we also have never been so far away from it because we fell asleep in 2016. Your vote matters if you believe in body autonomy and the right to choose. Your vote matters if you believe that the power of love fuels a country rather than hate. Your vote matters if you believe that misogyny and sexism need to be relegated to the dustbin of history, not put back and baked into our institutions. So Vice President Harris is ready to step up, and she has stepped up. And I want to tell you as a chief prosecutor in this city that there is no other person, there is no other woman who is more prepared to prosecute the case against Donald Trump. And Vice President Harris, and if we work hard enough, President Harris will keep the seat warm for young Madison in 2035. They've done their part. It is now on us. It's not enough to show up and vote. It's enough to make sure your neighbors vote. You got to make sure your mother vote. You got to make sure you take people to the poll. You got to use these devices. Don't scroll. Find your friends. Make sure they get it done. Thank you, Mayor.
He is Jason Williams. One more time for Jason Williams. Say, we will not sleep. We will not sleep. We will be wide awake and woke, because it's better to be woke than to be asleep. I want to just channel one thing. In 2016, several things happened. There was an effort in 2016, hear me and stay with me, and it was an internet campaign. If you were not aware, that internet campaign appeared to be an internet campaign carried out by activists in our own community. Dr. Dyson, it was not being carried out by activists in our own community. It was designed, orchestrated, and executed from St. Petersburg, Russia, by an organization known as the IRA, the Internet Research Agency. Now let me tell you what they did. This is important to know, because a lot of folk got tricked. They created these imposter personalities and opened up Twitter accounts in their names. One of the most famous was an imposter by the name of Woke Louisa. If you opened her internet page or Twitter page, Woke Louisa had a rockin' afro. The photo of her showed her just like this. And for several months, she amassed tens of thousands of followers. Her message was simple. Don't vote. We need to send a message. Don't vote. The best way to send a message is to not vote. Now, when in 2017 or 18, Colin Kaepernick took his knee, there was a tremendous amount of conversation on the internet. The Internet Research Agency, using tactics that they had honed during the Soviet era, decided that what they would do is that they would create false personalities on both sides of the issue. So they created a set of personalities that went to the internet and said, stand with Colin Kaepernick. He is absolutely right. Then they created another set of personalities, went to conservative quarters of the country and said, Colin Kaepernick is in effect a traitor. Stand against Colin Kaepernick. The sum total of all of the internet posts that the Russians made was 7 times greater than all the posts that Americans made. That's number 2. Number 3, when the 2016 election was in the countdown phase, maybe 3 weeks out, the Russians posted a beautiful banner on the internet. It said, African Americans for Hillary Clinton. Picture of Hillary Clinton smiling. A number of campaign slogans on there. In bold print, do you want to avoid the lines at the voting polls? Now you can vote on the internet by text. Text to this number and cast your vote. Okay, I'm not finished. Then As the election got real close, they switched the message and said, instead of not voting, if you insist on voting, why don't you just cast a vote for Jill Stein? See, what happened is trickery and bamboozling took place under the guise of legitimacy. Under the guise of legitimacy. Now, why am I saying this? Because it's the formula to happen again. The formula to happen again. This not voting conversation is being stoked by the adversaries of our community. It is being paid for. It is being orchestrated. It is being cleverly disguised in the clothing of legitimacy. And I'm talking about it because the only way we can stop it is by shining a bright light on it. You know, it's like throw on the bright lights and all the roaches run. And these roaches, now we see efforts, Yellow Pain referred to this, by some, Dr. Dyson, to go put some of our entertainers on a scholarship or a contract. And then they start running around. Now, I love many of these entertainers. I love some of their music. I love their beat, their rap. But, brother, I am not following your advice when it comes to civic engagement, public policy, and political matters. Just like I'm not going to follow a politician when it comes to whether he knows how to beatbox, dance, or rap. So we have to be clear that what we're going to face is unconventional warfare. Unconventional warfare. Tactics that are going to be used, that are going to be disguised. After the 2016 or 2020 election, my son, now 22, voted for the first time, and he was, as he skillfully does, eavesdropping on a conversation that his mother and I were having. He came over and he said, you guys don't even know what was going on. Pulls out his phone. He says, look at all these ads directed at all us young black men. All these ads about justice reform, who did what and who didn't do what. And why am I saying that? We have to push back, and we have to expose. We have to warn people that they are going to face illegitimate tactics. And it's going to be on the internet. It's going to be in digital ads. It's going to be highly targeted. In 2016, a conservative Republican person that I know told me after the election, he said, you know, there's something you should know. He was a never-Trumper. He said, I heard in the fall of 2016 that they were going to suppress the vote in Milwaukee, Detroit, and Philadelphia. He said, I heard them chattering about it. He says, and I didn't really know what they were talking about because, you know, I never really understood what voter suppression really was. He said, all that internet stuff, that's what it was all about. Some of this stuff is going to be narrowly targeted. It's not going to Chattanooga. It's not going to New Orleans. It's not going to the Bronx. It's going to be angled in to Philadelphia. It's going to be angled into Detroit. It's going to be angled into Atlanta and Milwaukee. It's going to be digitally, surgically placed to a subset of voters in those jurisdictions, because the vote being so close, you don't have to suppress 200,000 voters. All you need to do is suppress 10, 15, or 20,000 in 4 or 5 places, and it tilts the Electoral College. So in this moment of inspiration, I am sharing this information because urban leaguers, we have to go home and lead. We have to go home and educate. If you want the evidence and the detail behind what I have shared with you, go to the 2018 version of the State of Black America and look at the Transatlantic Democracy Report put together by the German Marshall Fund, which documents all of this with precision and specificity. So we need to be what? Educated and informed so we can say lead. Say lead. So we can what? Say lead. Now, before Dr. Dyson comes on, she is the founder and CEO of Bike and Vote, the Bike and Vote Congress of New Orleans. She is a graduate of St. Mary's Academy, that great school that was founded by the Sisters of the Holy Family. She is also a graduate of the Dillard University, and she hails from the mighty New Orleans East, Oliver Thomas. She is Morgan Clark Walker.
Thank you, Captain Charles. Thank you, National Urban League and Mark Morial for having me today. New Orleans, this means young people, we do have a seat at the table. I am proof that we have a seat at the table this year. I am Morgan Walker, the founder of Bike and Vote, based right here in New Orleans. In this pivotal moment, we stand at the crossroads of history with the power to reclaim our voice, our worth, and our future. The essence of reclaiming lives and retrieving what is lost and rediscovering our purpose and our potential. Today, I call upon each of you to reclaim your vote, to seize the opportunity to make a difference, not just for ourselves, but for our communities, our families, and our future generations. Just as I have become more aware and felt the urge to empower others to share tools and resources brought to me here, we must continue to empower each other through our votes. We must pass the legacy of empowerment, the spirit of advocacy, and the fire of change to the next generation. We must show the power in our voice, the impact of our vote, and the difference we can make in shaping our society through organizations just like Bike and Vote, where we're creating innovative pathways to the polls. We have the platforms, the resources, and the creativity in the young community to mobilize and organize to really make a difference by informing, registering, and mobilizing young voters to vote early and consistently. Bike and Vote is not just promoting wellness in our community, but we are reclaiming our power and our future. Please follow Bike and Vote on all social media platforms on ways you can ride with us to the polls. I'm calling on every voting organization across the states to please stand and join Bike and Vote and support us. Thank you.
One more time, we need you to remember to visit the Reclaim Your Vote table in the lobby to get registered to vote. Check your voter registration status and sign up to be a poll worker. We also have Reclaim Your Vote signature merchandise for sale, signature sling packs and t-shirts, and other National Urban League swag. Meet us in the lobby and go to reclaimyourvote.org to sign up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, to bring us home, we have author, media personality, professor at Vanderbilt University, longtime friend of the National Urban League, and civil rights activist par excellence, Dr. Michael Eric Dyson.
Fellow Americans, it is with the utmost pride and sincerity that I present this recording as a living testament and recollection of history in the making during our generation.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ho, H to the O-V. I used to move snowflakes by the OZ. I guess even back then you can call me CEO of the ROC. Ho, fresh out the frying pan into the fire. I be the music fans' #1 supplier. Fly it in a piece of paper bearing my name. I got the hottest chick in the game wearing my chain. That's right, Ho, not DOC.
My man. Let's give it up for the great Mark Morial, a great leader, an inspiring educator, a profound mayor, and one of the most remarkable men we have in our community. Show him some love right now. What an honor it is to be here. You've heard everybody say everything. I'm just going to put an amen at the end of it, because we know what we're dealing with. We living in the United States of amnesia. Barbara Streisand sang the theme song, "What's too painful to remember, we simply choose to forget." And that's why they're trying to ban books. That's why they're trying to erase memory, because they don't want y'all to know what they done back in the dark that is now coming to light. So they want to ban the fact that we were enslaved in America. Here we are in Louisiana. Here we are in New Orleans, in Congo Square, where when we couldn't speak, the drums spoke up. And we articulated what we believed by communicating to each other. And that's what we got to do today. Vote. Y'all already know that. Voice our total experience. V-O-T-E, vote. Voice our total experience. Because we know it ain't just about who in the White House. We know it's who on the Supreme Court. And we see what they've done. White supremacy has been instantiated and legally established as the predicate of American democracy. And white supremacy can speak even when you got black skin. Black mouth moving, white supremacist ideas coming out. And we know this orange apparition, this lugubrious leech, this foolish dictator has attempted to undermine democracy. But like everything else, we need a black woman to clean up that mess. Now it's for the old white man. I love that old white man who's done more for us than any white man since LBJ. So don't get it twisted. But black women be in control even when they ain't on the program. But let them get on the program too, and you see what goes on. Now, some Negroes are resentful of black women. That's why they want to side with a misogynist and a patriarch and a horrible sexist. But black women been running stuff since Harriet Tubman. Jesus was on the cross. If it wasn't for women, you wouldn't even know he was there. So ain't nobody scared of women. We should embrace them. And when you vote your conscience, you vote your commitment, you vote your community, but you also understand they trying to call us ignorant. We got in because we mediocre. Ain't nothing mediocre like a white supremacist who got the hookup and got in the office just to turn us down and to talk trash about us. They are the ultimate recipients of affirmative action. When Affirmative Action Was White is a book written by a white sociologist, because they got the ultimate hookup. They got the GI Bill. And with the GI Bill, what did they get? Points on a test to go to school, hook up for a crib or a house, and the ability to get a job. That's the ultimate affirmative action. And if you can say one thing about 45, he done proved that white supremacy ain't supreme. It ain't superior. Dumb, unintelligent, proud to be unmolested by enlightenment, incapable, and mad that the man who had the job before him had serious swag. That man who had the job for him is Jackie Robinson. Now we waiting on Willie Mays. In heels. Althea Gibson. Wilma Rudolph. Serena Williams. Black women have changed the face of America. Is she DEI? Yeah, she is. Determined, engaged, and insightful. That's what DEI she is. I'll end by saying this. You know what you got to do. You got to vote like your life depends on it, because it does. Because they're trying to crack down on your kids and deny them legitimate history, an AP course in black history and black studies, because they don't want us to know what really happened. So you keep studying and telling your kids to go to school, because no matter where you in school, I started at Knoxville College, a historically black college and university. I ended up with a PhD from Princeton because black folk invested in me. They loved me, and they taught me that I got to use my education to defend my people. So I tell you, when you go to that voting poll, you recognize that God is with you. You recognize that your ancestors are with you. You recognize that no matter where you go, that the spirit of Marcus Garvey, the spirit of Martin Luther King Jr., the spirit of Fannie Lou Hamer, the spirit of Malcolm X is there with you. And especially as I take my seat, Harriet Tubman. Harriet had to drag Negroes to freedom. She told them, I'm going to take you there. And some Negroes said, Miss Tubman, we was going to go, but we done changed our minds. But we ain't going to tell nobody. Oh, she said, I know you won't. She had a Bible in one hand and Junior Walker in the All-Stars, shotgun shooting for a rundown in the other. And so she had to drag some of them Negroes to freedom. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. Mama said, and she had to knock some of them Negroes out. And when they woke up, they said, where I is, Negro, you are free. We done drug your black ass to freedom, and black women will still do it today. Peace.
Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, explaining and splaining it. Let's give him another big round of applause. We love it. Putting it on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this Reclaim Your Vote rally. But this is only the beginning of the National Urban League 2024 conference. I want all of you to know there are multiple activities taking place at the Hyatt Regency Hotel. And on Saturday, we'll be at the Morial Convention Center for Family and Community Day. Please come out and bring our children, our grandchildren, our nieces, our nephews, and the young people of New Orleans to come out. We also want you to know that there are a number of opportunities through streaming and online. We've been streaming this to thousands of people all across the nation as we try to reach people through every potential and possible means. And we want to remind you that the National Urban League's Reclaim Your Vote campaign is now underway. Say reclaim. Reclaim your vote. Reclaim your vote. Jerica Richardson, raise your hand, Jerica, is leading this effort on behalf of the Urban League movement. I want to thank those affiliate leaders who've already stepped up to put the pieces together in their local jurisdictions to build the coalitions necessary to get out the vote. I want to remind everyone that voting is going to begin in some states in September. So voting, it's not just about waiting until November. It is an ongoing opportunity to vote. What we need to do is encourage everyone who can vote early to vote early, who can vote by absentee or by mail to do it, to make sure you avoid the lines, but then to encourage others to be able to vote. We have work to do to get this vote out. We are going to be battling, Melanie, voter suppression in the courts and in the courts of public opinion. We're going to be battling that all the way down because it is a present tense reality. And as I said, I want to remind you to beware of sinister, undercover, pernicious, caveat emptor. We must be aware, we must be woke at all of these strategies that are going to be used. Some easily seen, some not easily seen, to suppress our vote. So let's give it up and thank Xavier University one more time. Xavier University one more time. And we are so proud to see you here in New Orleans. One more time for Captain Charles. He's going to kick it and lead us out of here. Let's go, Cap.